Hello, welcome to Blocksiders. My name is Luke, and I've been involved in the cryptocurrency space for the last 3 years full-time. I help run a cryptocurrency portfolio management system, as well as educating people who are just starting out in crypto to hopefully help them avoid a lot of the pitfalls that we all face when we start out here. I started this channel because I found that when I was learning, the best way that I learned was by talking to people who knew a lot more than me. So what I'm trying to do over the next few weeks, months, years, however long I decide to do it, is to try to talk to people that know more than me about very specific areas and try to pick their brains about the space and just have a casual chat about what's going on. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you. All right, let's hope that works.
All
right. I'll make it work somehow. So
the Steem.
Okay. So I'll just backtrack. We've got to cover some old ground. So It's been a while since we've caught up. We've just done the first half of an interview, but then realized that the sound wasn't working. So now we've got to start from scratch. But so Simon, let's chat about the one story I wanted to have a chat to you about today. Was about the I know we met, the first time we met was in the Borneo Blockchain Summit in 2018.
Yeah.
And I know that you were a big part of the Steem community, or the Steem community back then. And then when and obviously you were getting everybody into streaming not streaming, sorry, but more into like blogging on Skype, on Steem, doing all that kind of stuff. And then we ended up in a situation where I think a lot of people actually did at the time, but the platform over the past little while has not been that smooth. So what I really wanted to chat to you about was to understand sort of what's been happening since then, because obviously there's been a lot of drama
it has
over the past little while. So let's just go over the story about how Steam's been running along.
Okay. Let's start. Let's quickly backtrack from the beginning of all this fiasco. It actually started during Steem Fest 4. So Steem Fest is like this yearly convention for all those who are creating content and posting on Steem. It's a global thing. And last year that they had it in November last year, we had Steem Fest in Bangkok. All right. So when I went over there, it was like normal, meet everyone. Then suddenly I met the business development manager for Tron, who was at Steem Fest. Right. So of course, while people are talking everything about Steem, we had the new managing director from Steem, which was there. Elizabeth Powell, she was there. The whole team was there. Everything looks nice. Then I started, chatting with the guy from Tron. I said, so what is Tron doing here? Why are you here in the first place? Then he was saying that, oh no, we're just here to check it out, just to see the community, let's talk about it. So of course, suspicions grew from there, right? And true enough, a few months later, towards March, there was this big announcement, especially by Justin Sun, saying, something great is going to happen. And but internally, we all knew that we already knew or had a hunch that it was going to be a procurement of Steemit Inc. Right? Because Steem blockchain, regardless, at that time is still a community base, and Steemit Inc. was just the founder. So it's And when that happened, okay, so the community then says, okay, even though a lot of us didn't like the idea of Tron being the new owners of Steemit Inc., and we all knew that Steemit Inc. had the biggest stake in the Steem blockchain, and being a DPoS blockchain, we knew that there may be challenges, especially Justin has been known for voting up his own witnesses and do changes as and when he likes it, because it has been done on the Tron blockchain many times. Okay, so but the thing is, on Tron itself, on TRX, when the super representative were just taken off and the chain was upgraded and it came back on, it was very quiet. Nobody said anything, or it wasn't loud enough. All right, but at first when Justin took over Steem Inc. and started saying that, I want to help the community and all of that, so we all tried to tolerate and we tried to collaborate with the guys from Tron. Right, we even had community briefs and all that, but everything started feeling very weird and awkward because whatever that came out from Justin Sun's mouth, the next day something else will come out on his Twitter. So like for example, the week itself that he took over Steem Inc., he announced that Steem is on Poloniex. We are planning to integrate the TRX blockchain with the Steem and do some integration, but we all knew that it couldn't be done. I mean, it doesn't make sense. And then he was saying that, we're going to give TRX airdrops for anyone who gets on Steem and all that. So, but everything became very suspicious from there. And what happened was that after trying to talk to Justin and trying to get them to understand that Steem is not Steem It Inc. Steem is actually a community of content creators. So some of the currently top 20 at that time, top 20 witnesses decided to do, a block on the largest stake there was, which was the stake that belonged to Steem It Inc. Okay, block in terms of the Steem It Inc. was not able to power down, means that they couldn't cash out. Steem It Inc. wasn't able to vote on witnesses. That was a soft fork. The soft fork, which is able to then literally, it could be removed or could be changed at any time. It didn't require a hard fork. Okay, then because of that, of course, Justin Sun retaliated by calling up all the exchanges. Huobi was involved, Binance was involved, all right, and because they had huge amount of Steem as well, all right.
From everyone who had put it in there, from trading and
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So they powered up, okay, and they started voting their own sock puppet witnesses, all right, to the point that they were able to reverse the soft fork, okay, and literally they held the entire consensus. So that became a big thing that just blew up Steem blockchain on the media in a scale that never seen before, right?
So the consequence of something like that is essentially like there was almost it's almost the same as having a hostile takeover.
It is
in the stock world. It's sort of like basically you have the majority of individual users who obviously may not own the majority of a stock, or in this case, the majority of Steem tokens, or may not be organized to a degree that they can consolidate power in a number of few large witnesses. Essentially, you have a couple of people who have, in the case of exchanges, access to a lot of tokens that by right aren't actually theirs. However, they use the voting power of those tokens to actually make massive changes to, well, not massive, but significant changes to the way that the Steem blockchain was actually designed to be used, as the community had seen it being used in the past.
Yeah, exactly. So the biggest controversial here was that it's because the exchanges got involved, right? And I mean, of course, later you got CZ saying that, we were told that the Steem blockchain was being hacked and monies was stolen. So without even knowing or understanding how the entire chain works, they stepped in and caused a huge disruption to the consensus of the chain. Okay, so if you look at it, the people actually to be blamed were the exchanges, right? Because without them, because one thing, the money was still safe. There was no hacks, but Justin kept on saying that it was malicious hackers, right? So I mean, if I personally know these guys who are top 20 witnesses, and if you were to call them hackers, it's it's nothing close to that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and as part of the Steam community itself, we understand that the concerns were there, and something needed to be dealt with, because in the past this concern has always been raised to NetScott and Steam It Inc., saying that you guys hold the biggest biggest stake, and you can just vote on any witnesses. But since 2016 until this year, Steam It Inc. has never done anything like that. They never even casted a single vote on a post, right? So the stake was just sitting down there. So whereas right now, if we were to take a look, Steam It Inc. is using their stakes for so many reasons, which it's I just it makes the entire Steam blockchain a very centralized entity at this point of time. So what happened was that after the exchanges stepped in, the whole fiasco of this hostile takeover, and then, of course, the witnesses and the entire community was unhappy as to how it was dealt with, right? So some of them got together and said, okay, let us fork Steem and let's just move out of Steem. It's fine. So when they forked Steem to Hive, okay, what they did was that during that fork, a list was generated, and that list contained people who supported Justin and the sock puppet witness. Okay, those people who supported those sock puppet witnesses, and also all of Steem It Inc.'s stake were on this list. And what happened is, during the hard fork, during the airdrop of Hive, whoever that was on this list who had a stake of Steem, automatically all their stake will be zeroized and be transferred to an account which is the Hive DAO, right? So the Hive DAO is used so that if you have a project, you can apply for some of it. Yeah. Okay. So that's what happened. And because Hive was a new blockchain and a new token, it was considered an airdrop.
Right.
But on Justin's side, he thinks it differently. Justin thinks that he had the right for the Hive token, and because he didn't get his Hive token the way it was airdrop, he called everyone a thief, and that they stole his money. So he claimed that. And because of that, the most recent one, they did hard fork 23. Whoever the witnesses that was supporting the Hive fork, all their account was zeroized and transferred to this one account called Community 321.
Sorry, so that means that anyone who is this on the Steem blockchain or on the Hive blockchain?
On the Steem blockchain. So the most recent fork was hard fork 23 on the Steem blockchain.
Yeah.
Literally, that blockchain, that fork itself, that hard fork itself, or that upgrade itself, was meant to zeroize all those who supported the Hive fork.
Yep.
So a list of about, I think, 49 accounts or 50 over accounts was generated, and whoever that was in that list, their wallets was nulled to zero, and whatever amount that they had was transferred to an account called Community 321. Right? So a total of about 25 million Steem was automatically transferred to one account.
How much is that worth now in US dollars?
About 5 million, above 5 million US.
So they just literally emptied out $5 million worth of people's money. Because the people, these witnesses that you're talking about, they wouldn't be exchanges or whatever. These would have been people who have either bought those Steem tokens
Yes.
or earned them by putting in content.
Exactly.
There would have been only those two cases.
Yep.
So literally, I mean, that is more thievery than the other thing. So
Exactly.
starting a new chain and so you can't be involved. So that's insane.
It is. It is. So what happened instead? So everybody expected that it was going to, that hard fork 23 was going to happen. We all knew when it was going to happen, and literally at at 2 p.m. UTC on a few days ago, the hard fork happened, and all the accounts were zeroized. All the Steem was then sent to one account called Community 321, and what was totally unexpected was that suddenly this account sent the entire 25 million Steem to Bittrex. All right. And then everybody was like, when it's like WTF moment. It's like, what just happened, right? What exactly just happened? Because we knew that in the hard fork, in the source code itself, it was going to this account, but suddenly this account sent it to Bittrex. Now, if you remember, the hostile takeover was a collaboration between Huobi and Binance, and of course Poloniex, right? The only exchange that didn't get involved was Bittrex.
Yeah,
Bittrex had nothing to do with it. So it was sent to Bittrex, but of course Bittrex, you couldn't deposit anything because the deposit was under maintenance. I mean the whole coin was under maintenance, right? So it's sitting down there in Bittrex account right now, and like 2 minutes later, a message came out from Community 321 that was sent to Justin Sun. Steem account, saying that in Korean, written in Korean, it says stealing is bad.
Oh, so someone actually had hacked the 321 account.
Yes.
Right.
So yeah. So then after that, I took a look at the Steem Block Explorer to see what's been happening to this account. So apparently, like exactly 10 minutes before the hard fork was scheduled, because on Steem, hard forks are scheduled by time and date and not by block number, right? So 10 minutes before that, the account Community 321 password was changed. Right.
So how would, I mean, who would, I mean, at the end of the day, would that be just, I mean, okay, so obviously we know that with blockchains and things, it's difficult to hack, and, you know, finding private keys and whatever is virtually impossible to just, you know, brute force. So, I mean, at a speculation level, how did this maybe Korean, maybe not Korean speaking individual,
exactly,
how did he or she or it, yeah, we've got to be sensitive, how did this individual, how did they manage to, at a speculation level, how did they manage to get access to that account and take it over?
Well, it's quite obvious that they would have the owner key.
Oh, so it would have been someone who was involved.
Could be.
We
don't know. We don't know.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So of course, this guy, this account, Community 321, is now the Robin Hood of Steem.
Yeah.
It just blew up. There's even a Twitter. I mean, there was everybody just burst into laughter, and you know, because it was a failed coup by Steem Inc. To zeroize and that. So the message, the memo that was sent from Community 321 to Bittrex was this Steem was illegally taken from community members. Please return them to the rightful owner. All right, together with the 25 million Steem that was sent to Bittrex. Then, of course, following that was that message to Justin Sun. Then everybody sent a memo message to Community 321. I mean, you can see in the wallet all the memos down there. I said, "You're my hero." They were all just laughing and making a mockery out of it. Yeah. So, but the thing here right now at this juncture, at this point right now, is that Bittrex had no idea that this was going to happen to them. Suddenly, they saw this 25 million Steem in their in their Steem account, and we knew that Community 321 has sent an encrypted memo to Bittrex, but we have no idea what it says. But Bittrex made an announcement saying that they have, even though they didn't like and they don't want to support this hard fork because they knew that it is ethically not right, right? However, they have to given that the consensus was given by the blockchain itself, so they have to follow the consensus. They are looking into following the consensus and returning back the Steem to the rightful owner. In this case, it would be back to Community 321 or back to Justin Sun. But again, that was what was being announced, all right? And however, the Steem is still in the Bittrex wallet. It hasn't been returned yet. Not that I know of. I didn't check today, but not that I know of. So all the community from Steem or Hive got excited. But then when they see the announcement from Bittrex, it's like, it's such a such a waste or such a thing which shouldn't be, because it was literally unethical. Then you start to wonder. Because it's a blockchain and because it's a DPoS, so even though it's ethically not correct, so what should you do? I mean, if you were placed in the shoes of Bittrex itself, if you were to follow the way that what you think is right and to do it, then you are actually, not following the rules of the blockchain, which was consented and it was written. So. That's the biggest question. I think they were placed in such a difficult situation right now that it would really suck to be them too. Because either way, it will make somebody unhappy, and which way do you actually do?
Yeah, well, I mean, it is a hard one because essentially, you risk annoying an entire community. Because obviously anyone who's involved and on the sidelines of this would be, well, if you could read between the lines, it was a pretty dog thing to do on behalf of Justin. And it's a bit of a tit for tat, kind of like, well, you cut me out of my network, I'm going to cut you out of yours.
Yes.
I understand sort of both sides, but yeah, I mean, and I guess on some side there'd be people who would be like, just haters of Justin Sun, like, screw him, let's go and, return the money and everyone's happy. But then there'd be the other side, which is that obviously Bittrex would make a pretty significant enemy in Justin Sun and those who support him at the same time. So you're right. I mean, Community 321 did put them, or the sender from the 321 account did put them in a very awkward situation.
Exactly.
Not something that would be easily managed. So yeah, I mean, exactly. I guess is that sort of where the drama's at now, or have we still got more to kick on with it?
At this point of time, that's where it stands today. So during the hard fork, part of the code is also to decrease the power down. So previously it was 13 weeks. So now it's only 4 weeks. So within a month, you're able to power down your entire account. Okay. And because it's 4 weeks, so let's say if you have 100,000 Steem, and if you were to power down your stake, it will be paying out every week. So it'll be 25,000 a week that you'll be receiving into your wallet, liquid, right? So
this is if you have Steem currently staked in the Steem network.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's say the first power down cycle, the first week will be ending in today is Monday, tomorrow. So from what I see is that there are a lot of people who has powered down. Okay, and the first big payout of unstaked tokens would be tomorrow. None of the exchanges has opened up opened up Steem yet. The wallet is still under maintenance. The only one that's available right now is Polonix. And so I guess tomorrow we'll see a huge sell-off of Steem. And I mean, right now it's 20 cents. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes all the way down to as much as what TRX is. It's worth at this point of time. You see, so yeah, so there will be. I would anticipate there's going to be a huge sell-off over the next 4 weeks, starting most likely tomorrow. And there, right at this point of time, there's only one exchange that is open for the Steem wallet is open, which is Poloniex. Of course, those a lot of people are very skeptical of throwing to Poloniex and selling off this. You know, you have no idea because the trust level for anything that Justin holds is no longer there. The community just don't like him anymore.
So what do you think? I mean, so that's fairly significant to know that. I mean, what's the date today? Because obviously I'm not going to post this today, so it's the 25th today. So 26th of May, you reckon it's gonna go? I mean, because by the time this comes out, it would have already been done. So
I would guess
it's more of a prophecy than anything else. So let's see if that came true by the time this comes out. But I mean, I've got no doubts by the sounds of it that because there would be basically anyone who is a believer in say Hive now, the way the blockchain was originally meant to be pre-Justin, they would just be wanting to just get whatever they can for Steem and continuing on with their lives with Hive, correct?
Exactly, because you've already started seeing most of the dApps that were connected with the Steem blockchain, they have turned off their own nodes for Steem and they have started their nodes on Hive. So literally the dApps is doing the transition. All right. There are new dApps which are also coming out on the Steem blockchain, but mostly from the Korean and the Chinese communities, which Justin has given them a lot. He's given them delegation. He has given them the power to be a witness. He's also tried to get the Indonesian community to support him. So what he's done is that there was one community from Indonesia, which I kind of know them, and I kind of know who are the ones running the nodes. They set up a node, and automatically they got voted in by Steem It Inc., and automatically they are a top 20 witness. And this is a guy who posts photography every day. Posts photography of flowers, bees, and whatever. And he's a top 20 consensus witness. So as one of the so-called unwritten criteria of being a top 20 consensus witness is that if anything happens to the chain, you are there to back it up or to figure out what's wrong. And I think this guy, or a lot of the top 20 right now is in no capacity to actually do any of that. So this
is from a technical standpoint, right? This is from being able to technically, So you're saying that this, I mean, like, so, I mean, is there a likelihood that this guy is technically capable, but he just enjoys posting photos of flowers every day?
I think he's more of a creative person. Right? This individual is so he's now a top 20 consensus witness. Yeah, I mean it's not wrong, but if you see the list right now is Justin Sun, maybe one dApp developer, two dApp developer, then you have photography guy. So it's quite concerning in terms of the growth and the stability of the chain, because most of it is just one company that's holding it. Really. Yeah, so that's why I call it, and I consider it a truly centralized system at this point of time, centralized blockchain at this point of time.
Yeah. Jesus. So that's fairly significant. What do you think? What's the motivation behind Tron, Justin, whatever? Like, what is the motivation for them to do this? I mean, getting involved. I'm not talking about. I mean, okay, let's say controller side and all the games and the corporate games, or you could call them, that are being done, and so consolidating power within the chain to have control of the chain is the obvious gain. But I mean, what's the overarching thing beyond that? Like, why put all this effort in? Why put all this effort in for Steem rather?
That is really beyond what I think. From by the looks at it, I think the initial plan, maybe he was thinking that if I got Steemit Inc., I will own the community. We all know Justin Sun, that whenever he posts something on his Twitter or whatever, it's all bots, which is just, you don't
liking and sharing and blah blah blah.
Yeah, he is like one of the guys that gets the most hate comments on Twitter. So maybe his thought process could be that I get Steemit Inc., I use my champion power or my super stick, and I support the community, and the entire community will now back me up, because Steem is one of the most diverse community out there in the blockchain.
So is it like, and this is sort of maybe not really showing my age, but so he sort of wants to be like Tom from MySpace.
It could be.
Everyone's first friend is Tom from MySpace. If anyone has ever used MySpace, I don't even know if people still use it. I didn't even really use it back in the day, but I just know that everyone's first friend was Tom from MySpace. So.
Exactly. Maybe that was the perception that Ned Scott gave him when they were talking down about the acquisition and all that. Maybe, all right? Then, of course, during the takeover, during the transition period, he then started to realize, oh, what shit did I get myself into? And and he did state in one of the discussion, the video discussions with the witnesses and Justin Sun, he did state that all I want is my money. Okay, you can do whatever you like. All I want is my money.
In regards to Hive.
Steem. This is in regards to Steem. Yeah, this was the discussion before the old fiasco with the exchanges and all that. So there were a lot of discussions between Justin, his rep, and the witnesses. Okay, so one of the things that he stated is that, I say, I am just here, I am just an investor. You all can do whatever you want. Okay, all I want is to make money. All right. Then after after the witnesses did that soft fork to prevent Steem Inc. from voting witnesses, there was another discussion. Then he says, he was saying that, I just want my money. I want everybody to be able to power down in 24 hours, following every other blockchain. And he was just blabbling things out of his mouth without even thinking or knowing how the entire chain works. And of course, the witnesses would try to reason with him that you cannot do a 24 hours power down because it will be abused. The entire chain will just die. We don't want Steemit Inc. to be involved in any witness voting. That's why the soft fork was done. A reversible soft fork. Okay. There was a lot of things that was said, but Justin Sun said, okay. Then next day he comes out with a Twitter, says, I'm being maliciously hacked by that. That's why we are doing the hostile the getting the exchange to help us to take away all these hackers and all that. So again,
how have the exchanges actually? What have they? Are they still part of this at the moment, or have they backed down? Because I remember seeing some stuff about the exchanges have since backed down their support for Justin in this regard.
Oh yeah, they backed down the second all the community came and rallied and start tweeting about how this whole entire hostile takeover was because of the exchange. They were blaming Huobi's, Poloniex, Binance. Yep, and I think it came to the point that when Vitalik Buterin, Vitalik came and tweeted about it, then the exchanges saw the seriousness on what they've done and what they've done wrong. And what they've done is that they quickly pulled out their votes from the witness votes. Yeah, so they did that after realizing their mistake. And of course, they did put out a apology letter saying that, but damage has already been done.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jesus, that's it's a fairly crazy story. And I think you were just finishing up. So you're finishing up your point about. But actually, one thing I want to ask was how was he initially intending on making money out of this? So as an investor, he would have owned some Steem tokens. I mean, the only way that I could imagine that he could make more money out of that would be either by staking and then making block rewards, or by seeing the token rise and then selling. So how was his initial plan to make money out of this?
Well, again, I think the initial plan was to get the community to follow him, like what you say, but I think he also thinks that he got a good deal, because when he bought Steem Inc., okay, what came together with it was the Steem Inc.'s entire stake, which was about 80 over million Steem, which was quite significant at that time. So maybe one of the ways that he was thinking is that, okay, I bought it at a discount. I will just rally up the entire community. I will rally up the price
and then dump it. Yeah. Which is what happened with Tron in 2017.
Exactly. It happened with Tron. I mean,
make some announcements about some upcoming announcements.
Yeah, make an announcement about an announcement. That's true, man. That's ridiculous.
Or a partnership. I've got a great announcement coming up about an announcement about a partnership. It's gonna be...
But having said that, again, I have I lost my confidence in the Steem blockchain. At this point, I think 90% of the communities, the active community, would have started thinking twice and started shifting their weight over to Hive. What is Steem going to be and what it will be, I don't know. Tron 4.0 is coming out. He made an announcement of that. So maybe there's some integration or atomic swap between Tron 4.0 and Steem. Get rid. Maybe his method is to get rid of everyone in Steem right now who doesn't support him, and grow it back up with integration with Tron.
I mean, that's as an integration piece, that's not. From a business sense and a ease of use sense, that's not a bad idea. But I mean, I guess the main issue is, what's the point in integrating maybe a potential blockchain that no one's going to be using in a few months' time? It's going to be very interesting to see what happens on the 26th, as in tomorrow, when that, like you said, the first lot of the stake, the staking, the first quarter of the staking is powered down.
Yeah.
And then to see, because I imagine a lot of people would just liquidate in protest, as opposed to anything else. People would just be like, you know what, I'm out, because most of those people would still have their Hive tokens.
Oh yeah.
So and Hive's been performing reasonably okay. I haven't done a Steem versus Hive chart to see which one's done better, but I know that Steem has been going not too bad. So Hive has been going not too bad, but update us a bit on if that's the Justin, anything left in the Justin story we need to be stressed about at the moment?
Nah.
Or it's the Steem story. And how's Hive going then? Tell us something good.
Oh, Hive. Hive been actually doing very well. Most of the dApps have come over, and it's continuously growing. Of course, there are quite a number of hiccups here and there. Some people are so used of getting their dApps on the Steem blockchain, then there will be the transition over to Hive, especially for those who are non-technical, are still doing a lot of questions. Withdrawal right now is much more easier, okay, because a lot of the exchanges have already listed Hive. And mind you, this is like one of those projects. Normally when you want to list on an exchange, you have to negotiate with the exchange, and so I think one of the milestones that Hive actually achieved was to get listed without paying a listing fee.
Yeah, well, it is a community project though. There's not an ICO behind it with millions of dollars that can pay.
Exactly.
I remember Binance at one point was a $5 million listing fee. No one's going to be able to But the thing is, I guess what Steem has or Hive has is, I mean, probably 100,000 users. How many users has Hive got, or Steem at? How many? What's the users?
Okay, the last I checked was about 30 to 50,000 active per day.
Okay, that's pretty reasonable though. But let's call it on the lower end, 30,000 daily users.
Yeah.
I mean, from an exchange's standpoint, that means there's 30,000 people who own tokens, who are active, who will be wanting to either buy, sell, or whatever.
Exactly.
Which most ICO projects, I would say, the vast majority would not have. Even an overlisted, even an oversubscribed ICO would have had between 4 to 10,000 users at day zero, with just being holders of the token, not even users of the product.
Exactly.
Whereas Steem or Hive would be a product that is not only used, but obviously people still hold, buy, and sell the token. So it's one of the very few projects. This is why I talk about it so much when I do conferences. It's an actual project in the blockchain space that actually has a significant amount of active users. Like, people actually use this stuff.
Exactly.
Which is good. But okay, well that's a bit of a good news story.
Yeah.
And so what else? Yeah. So what else is happening in it? I cut you off.
What else is happening? Okay, so there is also, I mean, there are more apps coming out. I think a few mobile apps for Hive blockchain itself that's coming out. Right now, there's only one, which is still named as Steem. But I think it's going to change the name soon.
Yeah.
So there are applications there are new applications coming out, which is a good thing. But taking into consideration that Hive is only like 3 months old, around there. Yeah. So it's less than 3 months old. We've already seen quite a lot of development coming in. We see a lot of new potentials. New communities are growing as well. So again, it's a start of, I would say that it's a restart of Steem, minus the fears of being hostile takeover. Yeah. So
that would be, you'd hope that they've sort of put mitigations in place to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
Exactly. So they are also looking at upgrading. So some of the community members who are developers, they are also putting in ideas as to how to upgrade the chain, what things that needs to be changed, how to make the Hive block much better in SEO. So these are the type of things that is coming into play. And I think by towards the end of this year, we will see a lot more changes on the Hive blockchain itself.
Yeah.
So I'm quite optimistic as to where it's moving towards. And that you will start to see a lot more people coming in, a more diverse. I think it's just the matter of having that killer dApp, or to run on top of this blockchain. Then we will see better usage or better adoption on this chain itself.
I've always said that I think that the one biggest thing that, back when it was Steem, but Hive, whatever, the one thing they're missing is that one major content creator that can come on and go, here we go, boom, and you know what I mean, and actually draw traffic to what it is. Like, I mean, what you'd need is a big content creator go, you know what, I'm off Insta, I'm off YouTube, I'm off whatever, and I'm just going to put all my content on Hive from now on. And then that would then start, if you got someone with 10 million, 20 million subscribers jumping over, that means you're going to instantly, that's mass market straight away. And I think that would be, that would be something that you'd have to get a true believer to do it. And actually, I should probably put this on Hive.
You should.
Yeah, but I'll put it on both. But but look, it's one of those things, and I guess for people who don't know, which would be the majority of people, what are the ways that, why Hive? Why would people use? And obviously I know this answer, but I think you could explain it better. Is why should people use something like a Hive, or in this, previously Steem? Why would they be using Hive as opposed to delivering content on the more traditional way? How does the whole thing work?
Okay, So the whole idea is of Hive is meant for people who like to create content and to be able to share, and of course perhaps earn some rewards out of that. Okay, so if they were to go to Hive.blog, a lot of people think that because it's a blockchain thing, they think that it's purely technical. Only technical geeks or nerds are on there. But if they actually take a look at what's on Hive, you will see such a diverse content of individuals putting all sorts of stuff on it, right? So it's not only technical. It is you have mothers sharing their cooking, kitchen disasters, people singing on the guitar. So a lot of creative content as well is on there, and this gives an alternative media for these creatives to actually put on. You see, of course, they'll still put on Instagram because a lot of their followers are there. They will still put on, I don't know, TikTok, if that's a thing, right? Or they will put it on maybe Facebook or other media. So Hive should be treated just as another media where they put their content on with a bigger possibility of getting rewarded, right? So question is, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the one thing is the benefit of the system is that you basically get rewarded for your content in actual physical dollars. Well, tokens, which you can turn into dollars immediately.
Yeah.
And it's all automated by the system. It's not done any other way.
Exactly.
And because I remember when I first created a Steem account a long time ago, which I have not used. It took about 2 weeks to get approved. Is that still the case with Hive, or is it?
Nah. Now you can get it because in one of the hard fork this was addressed, and what was implemented was this thing called resource credits. So now you can create your account within minutes if you're lucky, or I think the longest you'll wait is 12 hours.
Okay.
To get an account. So, but because of these resource credits, any individual who has more than 5,000 Hive power stake, they can utilize their resource credits to create new accounts. So let's say if you want me to create an account for you, I can create an account for you and a few other friends, but I'm limited based on how much stake that I have. I'm limited at how many accounts I can create in a week or in a month. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. I understand. All right. Well, that's. But I know there's another few things that we need to chat about, but I'm just conscious of time because we lost about 20 minutes talking about something actually which I found really interesting. But what we might have to do is I'll have to play with the setup a bit more, and then hopefully we'll be able to have a bit more of a smoother chat about what you're doing with trading and bots. So let's catch up about that. Sometime later this week or next week or something, because I actually I was actually I know when we're having that chat, I was actually really like wow, this is cool, because as a trader and someone who's been involved in the markets for over a decade, I sort of was like, wow, this is some cool stuff. So, but I'm hoping that maybe we can go for another hour on that. So that this, I mean, we're already sitting now at about 48 minutes, so that we don't turn this into a 2-hour thing.
You should break it up. It's too. We just can't stand it too long anyway. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's do that. But thanks for your time anyway, man. This is going to be the first of hopefully a few of these things I'll do with some of the guys in the community. But let's keep chatting, and we'll catch up soon, and we'll do this thing about the trading stuff, because I actually found that really interesting.
Okay.
But all right. Well, anyway, you have a good one, and I guess we'll chat soon.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right,
Cheers.
see you, dude. Have a good one.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.